Hello, my name is Caden, and here is my project, The History of Home Video. The 70s was when the home video industry took off with the invention of magnetic tape. Magnetic tape is a medium for storing data, where a thin, magnetizable coating on a plastic strip is used to record information. It's essentially a strip of plastic with a magnetic surface on which data can be written and read. Data is typically stored in a sequential format, meaning it needs to be read or written in order. This invention would bring about a format war between Betamax and VHS. Betamax, developed by Sony, was initially considered superior to VHS, developed by JVC. Betamax offered a higher horizontal resolution, around 250 lines versus VHS's 240 and less noise, especially in the Beta 1 format, which was better than anything VHS offered. Betamax cassettes were smaller and lighter than VHS tapes, making it easier to handle and store. But VHS had its advantages that would end up overcoming Betamax's advantages in the coming decades, leading it to become the premier home video platform. In the 80s, though launched in the late 70s, MCA DiscoVision was made to compete with VHS and Betamax. DiscoVision stored analog video and audio on a large 12-inch disc. A laser, initially a helium neon laser, would read the disc's surface, which contained tiny pits and lands corresponding to the video and audio signals. These signals were then reconstructed by the player to create the image and sound, like a record player. There were many drawbacks, including availability, pricing, and a lack of big movies made for it at launch were big drawbacks. But not just that, the biggest, unlike Betamax and VHS, you couldn't, and I have not found any evidence suggesting otherwise, still can't record programs onto a disc, making VHS and Betamax more appealing to most consumers, despite Laserdisc's better visuals. So it was no surprise when in 1989, MCA and partners sold the rights and patent of DiscoVision to Universal Studios, who then rebranded it to the more recognizable name of Laserdisc. As for Betamax and VHS, VHS started to slowly edge out Betamax as more companies started to focus only on VHS, and by the 90s, VHS was considered the main form of home video, due to it being cheaper and being more readily available. At the turn of the century, a new format was born out of Laserdisc's tech with upgraded components, and that would take shape with the launch of DVD. DVD was what Laserdisc could have been. It was better than any home video platform before it. It didn't have the availability issues that plagued Laserdisc back when it was still known as DiscoVision. Most importantly, and I forgot to mention this earlier, you had to flip the Laserdisc halfway through the movie, like a record, to watch the rest of the program. You could just watch it without having to do that, like on magnetic tapes. With it being just as cheap as VHS, it was able to be the replacement for VHS. But it wouldn't last for long, as in the mid-2000s, a new format war begun, as home video was finally making the jump to HD video quality. HD DVD and Blu-ray would compete for the title of the best home video platform. For all of 2 years, as by 2008, HD DVD's backers pulled out in 1 week, making market shares for HD DVD nosedive. So after that brief format war, it was pretty much radio silence for new formats for a decade. In the late 2010s, going into the pandemic, we saw a massive leap into full digitization of movies and shows on streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max, run on platforms like Amazon Fire Stick. But at the same time, DVDs and now 4K Blu-rays are still seen by some as better than streaming, including me, with the consensus mainly being of not needing the internet for physical media or random buffers or crashes. So now we are in the present day, so the question is, what comes next? Probably holograms or something of that sort, I have no idea. Here are my main sources, along with other sources I found interesting, on the same topic in the description. Also, I did not use my real voice as my microphone sucks. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.